We're back
We're back.
and going to share your marketing strategies
Okay.
or a few of them. And
Okay.
I'll share a few of mine. But
Okay.
maybe we can open up with one of the coolest marketing strategies that you've done
Okay.
to promote your business.
What is that? Which
Well,
one?
I would say one of the coolest one that I've seen is the wine bottles.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. They open a lot of doors. And okay, so marketing is everything for
Yeah.
a company, right? Because you have to let people know where you are and what you're selling. So marketing is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can argue all day long until you're blue and brown and green and in the face that sales are the driving force of the company. And they be right, okay? Because without sales and revenue coming in, there's nothing else, no other department.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that marketing, it's right up there with sales, like a close second, if not way up there with it. Because if you don't tell people where you are and what you're selling, who's going to buy from you? And so a while back, there was a guy that, he worked for a big company, and I worked for the same company. He was in a different department. And we hit a big policy. And in order to say thank you, together, we worked on this policy together and we wrote it together. And in order to say thank you, he brought me a bottle of wine, white wine, and the label had his name on it, the name of the wine, and I guess you had to put the percentage of alcohol to make it legal and so forth. But the label was custom,
Oh,
okay? It wasn't, so the bottle was also custom. So it was like if he had his own special reserve. And what they did was they got the wine, put it in a type of bottle that he liked, and then he put his own label on it, and he brought it to me, and I thought it was really classy.
yeah.
And so since then, I kind of did it my own way, you know. I I was starting out, so what I ended up doing is I favored more red wine than white, so I shifted to red, and then I had labels printed with the name of my business, my name, the phone number, and the address,
Mm.
and thank you. And so I've been doing that forever. And what I do is I go to the store, and there's a few stores that I like, and there's one that sells wines, and every now and then they put them on sale, and you can buy like 12 of them, and at the same time. And I remember buying quite a few, putting my sticker on it, very classy sticker,
Yeah.
and
And you hand them in person.
in person,
Because marketing, people could think, oh, you can market online and you can do this, that,
and you can.
and you can. But what we're talking about here today are in-person strategies, you could say,
Right.
what you've done, what's worked
What
for
I've
you.
done.
And
So that's worked out for me, Mike.
and it's literally going up and saying, hey, thank you for your business, or because you don't just do that to everybody. If not, you'd be buying wine for everybody, but it's for somebody that maybe you want to build a relationship with.
Yeah, initially I was concentrating on business owners because business owners also own houses, own properties, own cars, and so I was concentrating on business owners initially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then as I got bigger, there were a few other things that came along. I have never had anybody not open a door for me when they see that I bring a gift of a bottle of wine. Okay?
It's your
And
entrance.
yeah, well, you're giving someone a gift, and some of them are taken aback.
Yeah.
And you can see the change in character, okay? Which is beautiful.
Yeah, it disarms them maybe. You're bringing a gift. You're not asking for anything.
Right.
And there's something to be said about that psychological, which I've heard many different takes, is when you accept something from somebody, you feel obligated to give something back.
Correct.
Maybe some people don't, but
Correct. And I know that when I got started with this, there was a gentleman that said, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." And you can always hear from, what do they call them? The naysayers.
or different techniques,
Yeah,
you could say,
and-
of marketing.
And I said, "Well, why not?" And he said, "Well, take my case, for example. I am a recovering alcoholic.
Mm.
And if you bring me a bottle of wine, I'm not going to be
Drink
all
it.
that happy about it. And I'm going to potentially tell you, no, I don't want it, thank you. And not in the nicest way."
Right.
And I thought about that. And I said to myself, you know what? I have put so much effort. I had already printed, I forget how many, very, very nice stickers,
With your name, number.
Yeah, very classy. And I have already had bought bottles. And what am I going to do with all these bottles? And so I said, you know what? I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
And I tried it. I've been doing it for 30 years, Mike. And in those 30 years, only one time did someone say, "Oh, you know what? No, thank you very much. Please take it back." Only one time. And I've given out, I would say,
That reminds me
thousands.
of instances where we hand our business card. You've handed somebody a business card and they give it right back to you.
Yeah. They don't want nothing to do with me.
Which is, I mean, it's funny to think about because you're just take the card, right?
Take the card.
Throw it away.
Throw it
rip
away
up.
later, but
But
don't give,
right in your face, they give it right back to you.
don't give it back to me, please.
Talk about rejection, huh?
Oh, God.
But that's the name
And
of the game.
now that you mentioned that, there's 3 people that I know
Yeah.
that I wanted to connect with. And those 3 people all 3 of them gave me my business card back. They
don't
looked
want
at it and they go, "Oh, that's very nice."
I
They
mean,
wanted nothing to do with
yeah,
me
yeah. They
and
let
my
you know.
business.
They let you know right away. But
Oh, my goodness.
we've been doing boots on the ground marketing, like walking into businesses, walking into different areas
Forever.
for many, many years. You've been doing it forever, since before. But one of the other things you would do is you like pens, and
I love them.
and I never saw this one, but you also used to do flower pots or something.
Well, so look, one of my best marketing techniques was I knew that escrows, and we could try that. Let's try that again. I knew that escrows every now and then had a say in who picks the insurance, okay? And so I thought, if I could just get into the escrows, and I couldn't figure out a way. And then one day, I saw a for sale sign just outside a 99-cent store. They were getting rid of all their plants because they were making way for something else. And they were just, little pots, beautiful little pots for 99 cents. And for some reason it clicked. And I said, you know what? I'll buy the plants, buy the beautiful little pot, which was also $1. Mm-hmm. They look very pretty. And for $2, I'll come in and give a gift to the escrows. And what I came up with was whoever would allow me to put the little plant on their desk, I would tell them, look, don't worry about watering it. I'll come back next week and water it for you. And they look at me like if I was weird. And I got kicked out of a few places. And it builds your character. No, take your plants and, go somewhere else. But there were a few that allowed me to do it. And it became funny. And I would come in every week, and I bought a special type of little, what do you call it?
To water it.
Yeah, to water, and it looked pretty, and it had a sticker with my business on it. So every time I was watering, they were looking at my business, on both sides. And I got creative as all get go.
Yeah, that's
a
great way, a great reason to go back in.
Well, one escrow in particular started feeding me all their policies that they could, and they were huge. And it was one escrow with like 10 escrow officers, and they all loved me. And then I ended up, I kid you not, I think one year I wrote over 150 policies from them. It was incredible. They kept coming back and back and back, and we built a relationship to this day.
Yeah.
We have, it was amazing. It was amazing. I couldn't even believe it myself.
Something so simple.
So simple.
But the thing is that it got.
And then I stopped doing it because I got so busy.
But it got your foot in the door.
Oh yeah.
And that's, I think, what the purpose of marketing is once they see what you deliver and that you're good at what you do and on time and, ethical and all that, then now, you have a relationship already.
We're going to try that again. Okay?
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to try that again. I'm going to pick an escrow that I don't know.
We've done wine bottles.
We've done wine
bottles. I mean, I remember even you telling me, and this was back when I was really, early 20s, I think, and I was doing insurance, homeowners and everything, and I would go to I remember this one particular office of loan officers. It was a Wells Fargo loan center.
Okay.
And dropping off wine bottles. And I remember they would let me in because it was closed off.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And they would oh, yeah, come on in. And then I was just giving wine bottles and, trying to connect. And I got some business from it. But I got it because, the idea, because you would do it. And
well, I remember one time I walked into something similar. It was like a loan center. And I remember coming in with a wine bottle. Actually, in that particular day, I went in there with 3 because I had 3 loan officers that were feeding me all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I gave one to this, and to that. And there were a couple guys watching. And he goes, "Hey, what do I have to do to get a bottle of wine?" And I go, "Well, these folks are sending me business, and this is the way I said things." Okay, what's your name? Give me your card. And they wanted a wine bottle too.
It's just different because I remember in those, especially in the real estate offices, I remember going in with Mom sometimes after the board. She would put a business card with a little chick, a little.
Yeah, that was on Thanksgiving,
for
right?
Easter.
Easter, yeah.
One of those little yellow chicks.
Everybody loved them.
And it just stood out.
Oh.
Because you're dropping off business cards on these realtors' desks to try and get, but nobody's.
Right.
It's just piling on. So what could you do different? Another thing I would do is gift baskets. These were businesses that were already sending me referrals.
That was excellent that you did that.
And I would go to, I really liked getting these cookies from like different parts from Europe and different things.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I would get them and put them and make a little basket and drop them off at these offices, and they loved them.
See, and that's custom because you got cookies from Europe, you got this from...
Yeah. And I would put my sticker on there too.
It's brilliant.
It's just a way of, because even though somebody's already sending you business, at any point in time, someone else can step in and take over. And so you have to continue that relationship.
Correct.
And that's the thing with marketing is once you get an opening and they start referring you, it doesn't end there, right? You still got to stay. And that's where the famous saying is if out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, yeah. It's a brutal business.
It's brutal. Someone else will be in front of them.
Absolutely. There's always competition, always a new person, always a new gentleman or lady coming into the business that, it's hungry. It's all about being hungry. If you're hungry, you're going to do things,
Tell us about your donut story.
Well, the donut story was the one about the parking lot, right?
Yeah.
Because I've taken donuts everywhere. Okay. But that was... we had purchased a property, and we needed to restripe the parking lot. And
I remember it was a very narrow parking lot.
Very narrow parking lot.
Kind of awkward.
Yes.
Wasn't really that useful the way it was.
The way it was. But I had an idea to restripe it. And so that it would gut and put an arrow. This is the way in, this is the way out, an arrow out. Anyway, and so, but the city was giving me a very difficult time with the restriping it the way I wanted it. And so the city was only like City Hall to that particular city was only like 4 streets,
Yeah.
4 blocks down. And they were so close, and I tried to figure out what am I gonna do? How am I gonna approach these people? The people in the planning department were very, not mean, but they're, kind of short.
Dry.
Yeah, they don't want to build a relationship because then they feel compelled to
Do a favor.
Yeah, and so what I ended up deciding was, look, I'm gonna take them donuts. And so there was the donut shop where we go all the time to have coffee.
Our friend Alex.
Yeah, our friend Alex, and I would buy a box of a dozen donuts, and I would take it to them when I knew that they were open, the open hours. They don't work on Fridays. So I took them donuts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay? And I would say, remember me? I'm the guy that's trying to stripe the parking lot. If you could take a look at my, because you had to give them a plot plan and all this kind of stuff. If you could just please,
sign off.
Boom. And then I would put my business card on the donut box. I would put it in the front. And then when they opened the box, it would be on the...
A sticker?
Yes. So that they couldn't just get rid of this one. They would see me all the time. Every time they opened the box, my name and my business would be on the inside cover of the box. You know what I mean? And it was a sticker.
Yeah, because I've had people take off. You hand them something and then they take your business card off of it, and I'm like, wait a second.
That's why
I've had it happen right in front of me too.
Me too. I gave a bottle of wine to this guy, and he had just given me a piece of business, and later on I found out it was just by luck. He didn't send me the business. I thought he had. It was somebody else in his organization. He had a relationship with another agent, which is fine. I'm cool with it. Yeah. But he got the bottle of wine. He goes, oh, that's a good one. Took off my card.
Because you had only taped the card.
Right.
That's why you need a sticker.
Right. So I graduated. You learn these things.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I had it happen right in front of me too.
Me too.
Okay, but you were saying you were dropping off, so you were giving them diabetes at the...
yes.
What is it? The planning
one
department?
Donut box after another. And, I remember one time I walked in there and I left the donut box, and it was like a Wednesday. And I'm walking out, and another person from another department says, what is it with the donuts? What's going on here? And this was a guy that was the big boss, and he would not come in all the time. He would come in like out of those 4 days, maybe 2 times or maybe 3 times, but he wasn't there all the time. He would come in 2 times, and he kept seeing the donuts and donuts. What's going on? And he goes, the guy that wants to stripe the parking lot, And I started walking slowly just to hear, because I was on my way out, and they were talking about me. And he says, is he here? Is he still in the building? No, he just walked away. And I turned around, and I went back. And I says, what's going on? I go, you have my plot plan. I have a different idea. I just want somebody to see if I can. Anyway, long story short, we got it done. And it was the donuts. And I never forgot it. And I share that story a lot. Yeah. Bring the sweets. It helps.
Yeah. I mean, look, if it's just, you're just going above and beyond it to try and see if they'll work with you.
I had it okay by the following day. He actually took time to sit down, and it was a very simple thing to do.
Yeah.
But they were having an issue with it because it was completely changing all the striping that was there. Yeah. And I was losing 1 parking lot on the side, but I was gaining 2 on the back.
And parking's a big deal,
it's
right?
It's a big deal.
Street parking is in LA, anywhere in LA is at a...
And so, they didn't like the fact that I was rearranging the site. They didn't have so much of it, but, he okayed it. He okayed it. He sent somebody out that very afternoon to measure the distance between the end of the stripe and the end of the lot. Mm-hmm. And it was barely what they wanted, but he okayed it. He said, it's it's within. I'm gonna let you do it.
Yeah. No, and you got it done.
Donut. I
I
recently.
think what makes it the difference is the the fact that you're trying
An
to
attitude.
yeah, but you're going in there. You're not just dropping something off.
Right.
You're not just like something dry. No, you're trying to connect with somebody, and in all those instances, you're the person handing the donuts, the pen, the wine bottle. Because if not, marketing could be just throwing your money in like into the wind kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to stand out somehow
Yeah.
in a good way. There are some people that stand out,
Oh, yeah.
in different ways, right?
Yeah.
So, you want to show that you're there, that you want their business, that you want to earn their business.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, do it with a certain degree of dignity and character. You don't want to be a pushover either, right? But you want to show that you can do a good job, and that you're working
Yeah.
to earn their business, earn it.
Yeah.
And if they give you a chance, you better not make a mistake.
Right.
But
But you're there to earn their business.
yes,
It's not
yes,
going in entitled or not going in expecting anything.
No.
Yeah, when I would block when I got really busy at one point and I wasn't doing enough marketing, I eventually would block off my Monday mornings. That was like my day every Monday morning,
smart,
and that was my marketing day. And I
beautiful.
would spend, till let's say lunchtime, visiting different offices and making new connections. And I was able to make a lot of great contacts that way. And but it's interesting when you're walking into a place and they don't know who you are, and it's a little. I remember actually recording myself a few times, just and trying to prep myself because I was nervous. My hands were sweaty.
Yeah,
I'm about to walk into a place. I don't know. They can kick me out. They may
Sure.
not want me here.
Yeah.
Maybe they work with somebody else and
Sure.
they have a relationship. But you just got to do it. You just go in and try and connect with somebody. And it's worked for us. We've gone in
Oh.
to a bunch of places, and some places are welcoming and others are not. Others are very cold.
Yeah,
And that could be for any business.
correct. Well,
You
there's
know.
one particular guy that you know who I'm talking about. He's around here, and dry as can be every time.
Yeah. Except the last time he was
The
more
last
open
time,
to
yeah,
our...
but how many times have we been there?
I
I've
would
taken
say like 10 times.
10 times.
Yeah.
Can you imagine somebody going in there 10 times
Yeah.
and getting a cold shoulder 9 times out of 10?
But
It's just barely
we're
on the
spacing
line.
it out. We're not going constant. We're talking over years.
Right.
We're talking over
10 times over what? 3 years.
Over 2, yeah.
3 years.
And over 2 years. And the other thing is knowing how to approach people. The other thing is you can tell when you walk into a place and right away they're like, "Oh yeah, what do you need?" or something like that. They don't want you there a
Right,
lot of
right.
times.
Correct.
So you gauge the person, you
Of
gauge the
course.
tone, but the one-on-one contact is something that I think a lot of people don't do anymore, or maybe not a lot of people, but we rely a lot on social media, or
Yes.
you could just sponsor an ad on social media and try and promote yourself, and that's good too.
Yeah.
But I think personally, nothing replaces a personal connection.
Well, I agree with you, but that's our approach.
Right.
There's a lot to be said about, pressing a button and you got 10,000 emails or flyers, advertisement
It's
or whatever.
scalable.
Yeah.
It's massively scalable.
Right, because it is a numbers game after all. And all you have to do is catch somebody that's in between relationships. Like, let's say, for example, I got called the other day because this gentleman has a relationship with this particular professional, and this professional could not do this particular job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was referred by somebody else, and lo and behold, we were able to do it. We had the flexibility to do it. And it all depends on timing.
Timing.
So you catch somebody
Sure.
It's just like the story you told me about the quarterback that gets hurt. Remember that?
Yeah, you get a chance to come off the bench and maybe you do such a good performance that you become first string.
There you go.
You know, you become a starter.
I never forget that story. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, you catch people sometimes in between,
Sure.
you know, and you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah,
what,
no, I'm not saying that those ways are not good ways.
Right,
right.
right.
I believe that there's nothing like a personal connection with somebody.
You're right.
Um,
We just
however,
gave one to the electrician guy that owns
Yeah.
his business
Yeah.
over here in the neighboring city.
Sure,
And look on, well, he was nice from the
he
get-go.
was nice from the get go, but we dropped off a bottle. He appreciated
Yeah.
it. It's just even though people don't drink, some people still accept the bottle and they'll give it to somebody else.
Well, that's what a couple people have told me.
Sure.
Only one time have I had to take the bottle back in 30 years, but there's been a couple of instances where, you know, hey, thanks a lot. I don't drink wine. I'm not a wine drinker,
But
but
my
my-
employee does, or my spouse,
my
or-
son, my grandson, my
Yeah.
whatever, and they take it,
Yeah.
you know, as a token of appreciation for the,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, these are just different fun ways to market, and but you have to like connecting with people,
You have to, and you have to be on your toes all the time, because
or even if you don't like it, try and develop that skill.
yeah,
and
because
be on your toes.
well, you know, it's normal to be apprehensive when you're going into a place that you don't know anybody,
Right.
you know, and you
You're gonna-
potentially can get kicked out. And
Well, that's the worst. I remember, at the end of the day, what's the worst that can happen? You can get kicked out. You move on. Or on what's the best that can happen? You build a new connection that maybe turns into something.
correct.
And if you're willing to, like you said, if you have the drive, then you're willing to overcome those objections, those rejections, and you develop a little bit of a thicker skin. And hey, maybe it was
Yeah.
a bad day. And at the end of the day, that gentleman that we've met, let's say we've gone in 10 times and he's been pretty short many times.
yeah,
He always left things open. He never said, don't come back.
that's true.
He always said, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet, guys. Hey, I'm not ready yet. So he knows that we're interested in his property, in doing some sort of deal. He knows already. He already told us what he wants to do. He doesn't want to deal with realtors. He was very clear from the beginning. And we've had multiple people tell us, I don't want to deal with realtors.
Yeah,
For whatever reason, they got burned, whatever.
whatever.
We're not here to convert anybody.
No.
But we're interested in buying your property. Right?
Yes.
And so he always left it open.
Yeah. And that's you also don't want to be a bother.
No.
And when we're saying we've been there previous 9 times, it
Over-
was spread out.
And you'll ask me sometimes, hey, you want to go visit him? And I'll say, you know what? Let's give him a little more time.
Yeah.
You got to gauge things.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and that's another thing is the form of marketing and reaching out. Maybe sometimes you give him a pen. Sometimes you give him a wine bottle.
Yeah.
Sometimes you send him a text.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
you give him a call. There's different ways to
Different
be in
spices.
front of people.
You're cooking a meal.
Yeah.
Different spices. But being on your toes, I remember the one time I went into the bank, and I think it was Bank of America or Chase.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
And
I like this story.
we were sitting down, and the banker had a pen, and the pen stopped writing. He it ran out of ink, and then he tried to get another pen, and it was dried up or whatever. And so he finally found one. But when I went out to the car, I always have advertising pens, with my name and I went back in and I gave him 2, and I started passing pens out to all the bankers.
To
Just
the
like-
bankers.
Yeah, because what happened was I had a great excuse. I said, hey, Sean's, whatever his name was, Sean's pen dried up, and, I just gave him one. But just in case yours dried up, here's a pen. You want a pen? His pen just dried up, And it was fun. It became a joke because he was actually the top producer. And one guy said, well, his pen dried up because he's always writing loans or whatever. He's the top producer for our branch. And so it was a joke, and they took it in well. But they got my pens.
Was that the place that they said, hey, stop handing pens out?
They did.
Because you started handing them to customers. You went too far.
I went too far. Yeah, I would go there to make my deposits, and then one time they said, "Hey, we have enough of your pens." One gentleman came out and says, I said, "Are you sure? You sure? I got plenty of pens." He goes, "No, no, no." He had a smile on his face. He goes, "No, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay." But yeah, look, with me also, and I've said it many times, is the intention. If the intentions are good, noble,
People feel it.
people
They see
feel it. People feel it.
Yeah.
You know? And
People
so-
know when you're in a place just for one purpose. At the end of the day, they know that you want business.
Right.
But you also do care about building a relationship. And sometimes you end up helping them in a different capacity.
Correct.
Like maybe you end up, insuring them, but also maybe one day they need something else like an attorney a referral or a contractor referral or something like that, and you end up being there too. And so that's when people they get to see the relationship aspect of
Right.
marketing.
And that's very important. And that's something that over the years, that's what we have become also, a resource, a form of resource to our friends, family, and clients.
Yeah.
And whatever they need. If it's an attorney, if it's a title person, if it's a contractor, a roofer, a plumber, somebody that does, works with steel, whatever. We have over the years, we've built,
Yeah.
and we become a resource. And when you help someone in that manner, they remember you,
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
So,
And
and they're grateful.
and also being careful. You've built that list over a long period of time, so you have to be careful who you refer.
Exactly.
But one thing, if for people who are listening and want to, let's say, start doing marketing in person like that, I think the fact that we go together, to a certain degree, maybe disarms people. Some people might be like, "Oh, it's two people," but to a certain degree, we also help each other out because let's say we got rejected. Like, I don't remember that one time we got kicked out of that place. Remember, you shared it on a previous podcast. But
The clinic?
yeah,
The
we were
medical
marketing
clinic?
insurance. This is like over 10 years, 12 years ago.
Oh, no, this is a long time. Yes.
And I was a lot greener.
Yeah.
And we went in there and the guy kicked us out, right?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want anything to do with us.
Yeah, he didn't even let us get into the clinic.
He saw us coming.
He saw us
was
coming.
outside.
Yeah, because I saw him. He was dressed very, very well dressed, very sharp. He was a doctor, and he got into his vehicle, and I saw him come out of the clinic. So I went up to him, and I guess I overstepped that,
Bubble.
that bubble, the 2.5 feet, 3 feet of personal space, right? And he lowered the window and he says, no, I'm not interested. And by the way, that's my medical clinic. Don't even go in there. And then he raised the window. And, I was taken aback a little bit, and I was turning, and I turned back to see him one more time. And he went like that with his hand, like, get out of here, whatever. And let me tell you, it builds character,
It's humbling.
Yeah. Oh, it's humbling. You have to go put some... In my case, what I do on stuff like that, I find a bathroom and I get cold water and I splash it on my face and I say, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And now I don't even do that. But in the beginning, it was rough. You're not used to it. You gotta, like you just said right now, develop a little bit of thick skin, okay? And just a little. Not too much.
Right.
Because then you become cynical about things.
Yes.
And you don't want that also to come across. You really want to care.
Right.
You really want to care and bring value in a product and build a relationship genuinely.
Correct.
So go ahead and build just enough thick skin to let you continue moving on, but not too thick.
Right.
Where
You don't want it to destroy you and you're crying and this and that, but you also don't want it to harden you to the point that you are emotionless,
Yeah.
let's say, or you don't care.
You remind me of, real quick, and then we can, if you like, I don't know how long it's been, but there was a guy where he was doing, it was a real estate meeting, but not at a real estate office. It was in one of those centers where all the people get together. And he was doing a fantastic presentation. Tremendous. Extremely knowledgeable. He was a termite guy. Termite. Okay? And towards the end of the conversation, or the presentation, somebody asked him some kind of a question about his charges or whatever, and his demeanor changed. And he said something that I think killed the presentation, that had been absolutely fantastic. And it was in the way that he said it. And what he said was this. He says, I want your business, because they were talking to him about pricing. And I guess they pressured him a little bit or whatever. And he says, look, I want your business, but I don't need your business. Let's get that cleared. I want your business, but I don't need it. So I don't need your business to put food on my table, or, And you could hear a little bit in the crowd, ooh, yeah, like, so you need to be tactful.
Yeah.
He made a tremendous presentation, extremely knowledgeable. I mean, but then he said that towards the end because maybe they rubbed him the wrong way on pricing. I don't remember exactly.
Probably.
But I do remember that he said that. I want your business, but let's get it clear. Let's get this clear. I don't need your business. My price is such and such. And he was strong on that. And that, I thought, woo, that came out. That didn't come out quite right, And you can say it in other ways. Well, the pricing, this is what I usually have. We can work on it. Every case is on an individual basis, blah, blah, blah. Yeah,
it goes to show you that even if your profession is termite or contracting or plumbing, you still got to have people skills.
You do.
You still need to know how to talk to people, because with that mentality, I think at the end of the day, you end up losing, because eventually... well, that's the thing. I mean, it works for some people, right? I guess, but you're turning people off.
Yeah, you gotta. You're there to get business. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
You can't be on your high horse.
No.
And let your ego get in the way. Usually, they say, hey, you know what? In order to be able to run a successful business, make sure that you get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Get out of your way. Get out of the way. Don't let your ego get into it, because, look at things with an objective, subject.
To wrap it up, one thing that we used to do marketing was go to real estate events, different events where they would put on presentations. They would present listings, different things like that. And for me, it was very intimidating.
The boards
of the realtors.
Real estate boards.
And for me, it was very intimidating to try and talk to these people that were much older than me. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times my my age. No, I don't know about 5 times. But over time, you learn it. But that's a way to reach a lot of people also at once. But how do you differentiate yourself? How do you separate yourself? Everybody's looking for a deal. Everybody's looking to cut costs. Not everybody, but how do you separate yourself? And if you show up consistently and you're ethical and stand your ground and show people what you're made of, you've been able to build so many relationships through meetings and presentations.
Through years and years and years. The best advice that I could give, if anybody wanted to hear it, okay, is never close the doors to communication.
Yeah.
Never. Because, you know, you may not agree at that moment, but things can happen in a person's life that will change their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were a human being with them and you treated them like a human being also, okay, they will remember you, and there may be an opportunity there. And an opportunity, not just for an opportunity, to me means everybody grows, okay, not just one person grows.
Right.
An opportunity is, okay,
Good for everybody.
good for everybody. Live and let live, you know, because there's a lot of people that say, oh, there's an opportunity over there, you're going to make a killing. Well, if you're making a killing, is the other guy getting killed? Because that's yeah, I don't consider that necessary. I mean, if you consider that an opportunity where you have to destroy everybody that, you know, comes
Yeah.
on, that's, I think it's short lived.
It's short lived because
You know? Everybody needs to grow
if
with it.
everybody wins and grows together, then that can be a fountain that continues to grow.
Correct.
It's not a one-time transaction.
That is correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wrap it up there.
Wrap it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.